I'm in a place I wanna be. I'm fighting things no one can see. Why are they still here? All of these voices in my head, they're saying all the things I dread, and it should be so clear. And why am I fighting with my own self? Weird.
Hey everybody, welcome.
How's it going?
Are you in there? Is it moving?
It's moving. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Fit Show.
Welcome.
Second edition.
Second edition, number 2. This time we'll have a little bit less technical issues. Let's put it that way. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back to the Fit Show kitchen and seeing the show again. My name is John Taglieri. That's Mr. Jeff Rosen. This week, well, first off, we want to always say we are not professionals. This show is our opinion. We like to think we know some things, but we are not professionals. So before you embark on any kind of fitness journey, health journey, or a new diet, please consult a physician, get some professional advice, make sure that your body is up to spec for whatever you're about to embark on. And if anything happens, you can't blame us.
Not my fault. I didn't do it.
Well, you can blame him. You can't blame me.
I didn't do it.
Today on the show,
We're also not professional chefs.
We are not professional chefs. We're
So
learning as we go. We just love to cook.
Don't even trust what we're eating.
Jeff likes to eat.
I like to eat. I like to cook.
I like to eat too. But it's eating the right foods and not eating the bad foods because it's easy to eat pizza because they deliver. It's not so easy to put on that weight and lose it again. Today's guest on the show, yes, we have a guest this week. It's our first guest. Her name is Colleen Markham. We're going to bring her in just a few minutes. And she is one of the top reps with Arbonne. And she has had quite a journey of fitness and weight gain and weight loss, just like everybody in the world. She has kids, that whole 9 yards. We're going to get her whole story. It's pretty inspiring, so you're going to want to stick around for that. I want to say hello to our sponsor, Nantucket Vineyard, who is taking very good care of us with wine on this show, which we might as well
We may as well have some
do
now.
what we do right off the bat, because Jeff and I are going to be doing this today.
We're drinking what? A Pinot Gris today?
This is a Nantucket Vineyard Pinot Gris.
Pinot Gris.
You get that much, and then I'm just going to do this.
Classy straight out the bottle.
Right out of the bottle. Why waste time with an
Did you push
extra
the
glass?
cork into it too?
I want to say that last week's winner of the HelloFresh free meals. Hold on.
I'm just sniffing it. I'm excited.
Sniffing it. I'm going to leave that right there. There you go. Last week's winner was Marsha Brell from Key West, and I think living in Ohio right now. But she won a free box of HelloFresh, so we want to say congrats to you. Cheers to Marsha. Watch in the coming weeks too, because we're gonna have more giveaways. We're gonna have one sip, and I can't speak anymore. We're gonna have more giveaways in the coming weeks. We're gonna be doing a lot of different things. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because Jeff is about to start this week on it's gonna be short every day, but it's gonna be a little video vlog of his journey.
What I'm doing.
Working out, eating, dealing with family, everything in life that's gonna connect the journey from start to finish for Jeff. You just got back from Nashville, didn't you?
I did.
How was your trip to Nashville?
It was wild and weird and awesome.
Wild and weird and awesome.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. We went at it hard. Got to play at some great venues. Got to go to Bluebird Cafe and see a buddy of mine do his set there, and it was a lot of fun. We packed a lot of stuff into 4 days.
Nice.
So.
A lot of stuff is good.
A lot of stuff.
Where did you play? Did you have did you any big name places, or what'd you do?
No. Just kind of sat in with some friends that were playing downtown, down in Music Row, down in Midtown. Did not play at Bluebird, just watched.
Bluebird. I have played the Bluebird 5 times.
Really?
And I will say that in a listening room type environment. So as what we do on the weekend, what we do at the shit show on Saturdays in Plymouth, or what I used to do in Key West. You are an entertainer. Make no bones about it. I mean, I've got 14 CDs out. Jeff writes music as well, but when we're on that stage at that kind of show, we're entertainers. We're playing whatever you want. We're acting silly. We're drinking a lot. We're doing that. When you play a room like the Bluebird,
You get to do your own thing.
it is pin drop quiet. And it is ultra respectful to every single performer who steps on the stage. They don't care if you're a huge name or if you're first time in. They are dead silent and they pay you the respect as a songwriter and as an artist that you deserve. And it's an incredibly refreshing feeling to play in that room and be on that stage.
So it was a lot of fun being down there, but
Did you work out at all?
I didn't get to the gym, I'll be honest. But we did a ton of walking, mostly from bar to bar.
Of course.
But we did a ton of walking, so I kind of got some steps in, Mostly what I try to do, because it's really easy to do, Nashville is all about bars and music, and that means that there's a lot of drinking involved. So
Good old boys know how to put them down.
right, my goal was to try to minimize my alcohol calories, and also kind of just make sure I was staying on the food tracks, doing the right thing with the food,
Nice.
And
nice.
so I ate pretty healthy. I had one pretty awesome omelet though.
Yeah. Omelets are okay. You can put everything you want in there. As long as it's not a pizza.
Had lots of cream cheese and all kinds of stuff in there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
good. That was my cheat day though. I was on vacation.
You know what
man.
though? We're going to be using some heavy cream today in our recipe.
Okay.
Today's
Get into
recipe,
it.
we're going to be making a BLT chicken salad today. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be these amazing chicken breasts on top of a BLT salad with, we picked up some really healthy uncured bacon with no nitrates, vegetarian fed animals. So the bacon is a very healthy bacon, and it's still real bacon. It's not turkey bacon. It's not vegetarian bacon, which I'm sorry, it's not bacon.
I actually like turkey bacon.
Turkey bacon's okay.
It's just
turkey
not.
bacon's okay.
It's not the same.
But it's not
different.
bacon.
Right. Right.
I'm very picky on my bacon. And we're also going to be making protein balls because as somebody who works out, and you'll find this out, snacks are a great thing, and a protein ball is a great snack because it's got some good calories to it. It's got a lot of protein in it, obviously, but it's not bad for you in so much as generally, depending on how you make it, there's not a lot of carbs in them. So you'll get a little bit of fat content, especially if you use peanut butter. You'll get a nice calorie push. You get a little bit of a feeling of fullness without having to eat anything bad. So we're going to make some protein balls today, as we're also making this BLT chicken salad. And to help us today, we brought somebody on the show prettier than both of us.
That's impossible.
I know, it's a difficult concept to understand. If you've seen us, you know what I mean. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Fit Show would like to bring in Miss Colleen Markham.
All right, hi guys.
Welcome. How's it
So
going?
good to
Thanks
be
for
here.
coming on.
Thank you for the glowing introduction.
Yeah, officially our first guest.
Yes.
I'm
You were the first one in the
excited.
kitchen with us.
New.
So, we should actually get kind of moving right away on the cooking part of this whole thing.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Can I make
Because
myself a fizz stick though? Because I'm not
You
drinking
what
should.
wine.
exactly
Yeah.
is a fizz stick? You have to explain your
So,
fizz sticks to us.
I'll explain the fizz sticks.
I've actually got one right here too, and they're awesome.
I have not tried a fizz stick
Oh,
yet
John,
because
sorry.
I'm trying
I
my wine.
guess you can have one too.
Can we put a fizz stick in my wine?
I don't know that I would advise that. So what this is, it's got green tea extract, it's got B vitamins, some ginseng. It's about, I think, 15 calories per serving. And basically it's like a coffee or a soda replacement.
Okay.
Tastes really good.
You're very tasty. I was surprised.
Gives you a little pick-me-up without that, crash and burn that coffee can give you.
Right.
And without that dehydration. It's actually made with, it's more alkaline than it is acidic.
Okay.
So coffee, as you know, is a very acidic thing,
Right.
which in turn creates inflammation in the body. This is very alkaline, so it's actually anti-inflammatory too.
And you have been in the midst of a 30-day cleansing,
Yes.
so to
So
speak.
that's why I love wine. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I was a little sad to not be able to have a glass of wine because I'm a little nervous. So it's nice when you can,
Wine definitely does cut
wine
down
helps
on the nerves.
with that.
Excuse me.
Sure. So I'm on day 11 of a 30-day program, which I might take a big pause on Thanksgiving because really
It's Thanksgiving.
But other than that, I've been really good, and I lost 5 pounds in my first week,
Wow,
that's
which I
awesome.
felt really excited about. And more than that, though, it's just how I feel.
Right.
The program is not so much a weight loss as it is about really detoxing your entire system. So
Right.
I'll get into all of that. But yeah, so yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. That's the thing that I am noticing as I'm, you know, like I said, I put my health on hold for my vacation. But what I've been noticing since I've been in the gym and eating better is like I just feel better already, you know. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how fast your body, you know, wants to get back to it. This is the natural way your body wants to be, you know. And and it just feels good. I'm getting better sleep. I'm waking up earlier. Like I mean,
Yes.
everything top to bottom is just
Well,
better.
you know something that's really interesting that hit me with this program? So a big part of this is about balancing your gut flora.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually what they're saying is like the new wave of medicine. You know, it's actually, you know, we were talking about how the protein balls I made last night to prepare for today kind of look like poop. I noticed
The coloration's a little dark.
they're a little dark.
I wanted to put a little swirly on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. But the reason I bring that up is I'm amazed at how much I actually talk about that when in my job, just
Right.
helping people get their health better, because really that your digestive system is a huge part of your health.
Yes.
Right.
And with this program, you know, when you're, so actually your gut health, that's where your serotonin lives.
Right.
So serotonin is that neurotransmitter that's responsible for your mood, it's responsible for your sleep, for your sex drive, for your appetite, all of that stuff. So
we want to have
right,
My
you
serotonin's
want that
been doing this.
serotonin. Yep. Good to hear, John. Good to hear.
I'm taking notes.
Because
Hold on.
honestly, at the end of the day,
You guys know me by now.
we want to make sure that, you know, that is balanced, because
Right.
that affects everything else, and food can really detract from your health in your
Right.
gut. So
Right.
that's a big part
Well,
of it.
here is to
Indicators.
yours.
Cheers to
Gut
the
health.
first visit on the Fit Show.
Now, I do want to take a sip and see what that tastes like.
Yes,
if that's
please
okay.
do. I'm not weird with germs at all.
We have kids. When you have kids, there's no.
There's just
You
no.
can't be afraid of germs with
Yes.
kids,
That is very good.
Isn't that good?
Now, you have 2 kids?
I have 2. Yep. I have a boy. Both boys. Chase, he's 5 on the 30th of this month, and then Asher just turned 2.
I have 1, and Jeff has 3.
Yeah.
You have 3?
3 little girls, yeah.
Oh my
yep.
gosh.
We have
1, 2,
6
and
kids
5.
between the 3 of
Oh,
us.
and they're all so young. We should
Yeah.
have a play date or something.
Yeah, right?
Mine's 3.5.
We'll bring them on the show.
Yeah.
Right? Let them run around here with knives and stuff. And
Yeah. Why-
See what happens.
We're
What could
kind
possibly
of
go
all
wrong?
really lucky that they're not here right
I
now.
know, right?
Thank
Mike
you.
Zacher said he had a
Why?
question. Mike, what's your question? Just post it in there and we'll get to it for sure, buddy.
And a quick thank you to my mom, who's making it possible for me to be here with no kids today.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you, Mom. All right, so I want to get started here. So, Jeff,
Yes.
if you would start to
Bacon.
cut that bacon up into
Start-
little cubies.
Just
like
eating
little,
it?
Well, you could
Just start eating
the-
it.
I would just start cutting it.
Okay.
Oh. What can I do?
You and I are going to get to work on the chicken. And there's a lot of it because we're cooking for an army today.
All right.
Look at that. We're all going to be...
that.
Look at how are my bacon squares?
I don't know. I'll have to taste one.
Yeah.
Make sure they're okay.
They're bacon bits.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. Oh, they're great.
We're going to want some for the show for like cooking later. So just,
That's the worst when you cook with
but
bacon.
I haven't tried it to make sure. This is called quality control.
That's
I'm not
good.
going to try it. You guys are
very
bad. You guys are bad.
You're not bad.
Naughty.
I'm pretty sure I ate like 4 of the protein balls as I was making them last night.
So we're going to use
You had to make a
some
second
lemon
batch.
and basil. I want to get my basil out.
You didn't have your basil ready, John?
I,
Look
you
at
know,
this
I
chicken.
should
You always have
have.
to have basil at the ready.
I have my sweet basil. I'm going to use some lemon seasoning.
This bacon's some of
this
it's only
dash.
par cooked right now. We're gonna
All right.
finish.
Yeah, we're going to finish cooking the bacon.
After we chop it.
After we chop it.
Oh. Should I just help with this while I'm here?
Yeah, why not?
Just
Why not?
stand
We can both cut some bacon. We can chew the fat.
So, while they're cooking, you're left-handed?
I am very much left-handed. I
Wow.
do everything with my left hand.
I'm left-handed, but I cut righty.
Really?
Yeah.
You play guitar righty as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Maybe-
Okay, so while they're cutting bacon, what I'm going to do is start to season the chicken. The chicken is going to be seasoned in a sweet basil with some lemon, some Mrs. Dash lemon. So I'm just going to lay them into this bowl. And yes, I just washed my hands, by the way.
I did too.
I
For the
didn't.
record.
I didn't.
Jeff never does.
I never washed my hands.
Jeff hasn't washed his hands in about 12 years.
I feel like chopping bacon is trickier than it looks.
It actually, I think it is too. I'm
Is
gonna
what?
try to layer it so it goes a little bit faster.
Oh, there you
but
go.
It's still.
Oh, she's got a technique.
She's smart.
I do cook for my family almost every night.
These women, they have
Home
techniques
cooked
with their
meals,
cooking.
man. It's not easy.
And
That's it. We're gonna have a bacon race.
We're gonna use two different Mrs. Dashes here.
Oh, no, I
which
won't.
one's
The
gonna
original blend.
Someone's gonna lose an eye.
We're gonna use the original blend Mrs. Dash, which I love a lot. But then we're gonna
Ooh.
throw a little bit of this in, which has a little kick to it.
Oh,
Just to
okay.
kind of give the chicken a little.
I actually don't
So-
use that.
Oh, it's fantastic. Mrs. Dash is fantastic. So we're just gonna generously season the chicken on both sides.
Generously.
Basil.
So tell us a little bit about what you do with your Arbonne products.
Yeah, so I got into Arbonne about 3.5 years ago. At the time, I actually had a home daycare. So you guys, we were talking
wow.
about how hard it is to have, little kids around all the time.
All the time, yes.
And I had I had, over the course of a week, I had 6 kids, and most
Right.
I had at a time was 4, but they were always under 4 years old. So
You're saying.
it was rough. It was really rough.
My blood pressure's rising just
It's-
thinking about
it
that.
was really hard. My house was a mess. Like, my life was a mess. I barely got dressed every morning.
So you
like,
ran the daycare out of your house.
I ran it out of my home,
Okay.
in Pembroke at the time. And, I started to think about it, and I realized that there was really no way I was ever going to make more money unless I took on more kids and worked more hours, neither of which I was willing to do. So I started to think that the only way I was going to make more money would be going back into the workforce and back into maybe corporate, which is where I came from. And I was really scared about that and just sad because I knew I wanted more kids, but I wanted to be there for them a little bit, you know?
Right.
And so Arbonne crossed my path, and it felt like kind of an answer to some prayers, to be totally cheesy and honest.
No, that's
It's
true, yeah.
Yeah, so when I first heard about the nutrition, though, that's what really got me. So you guys might have seen my bio, but prior to that, I had some really weird health stuff. One being, like, eczema so bad that people thought that I was a burn victim. Like, they would ask me,
That bad,
they'd
huh?
see my hands and ask me, like, oh my gosh, like, were you in a fire? Which I can't imagine anyone would ask that.
That seems
Someone,
like
that's very forward.
I was gonna say that seems like a pretty rude thing to ask. Were you in a fire?
Nice to meet you. What the hell happened to you?
Like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. So obviously, that was interesting. The first time someone asked me that, I was like, wow. And it was really starting to affect how I felt. And the other thing was, I had always carried just that gut weight around, and I couldn't really figure out how to get rid of it. Could have been the beer. I don't know. But, at the time, I was in my 20s, and I started to research holistic health.
Yeah.
And I started to look into, okay, how does your diet affect your health? And now I feel like it's everywhere, but that was, over 10 years ago, so things have changed so much.
Right.
So I did a little mini cleanse. I, noticed immediately a difference when I cut out gluten from my diet.
Right.
So that was like a big one for me, and I've been gluten-free now for almost 10 years.
Wow.
And I take I take all the gluten she avoids.
Yes,
and I
a lot
eat-
of people
I eat
benefit
all-
from that, yeah.
And I bring it up, and I joke. I have a lot of friends who are gluten intolerant, and I always bust their chops because thankfully, I have no issues with gut health, so I can eat basically anything I want at any time I want. Breads, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I always joke with
Everyone's
them,
so different.
but it was interesting to me that so if you have celiac disease, obviously you know that is a legitimate medical issue.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed to become the hip thing to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
what's
lactose
interesting?
intolerant. Where I'm, there were a lot of people who all of a sudden, who
Yeah.
I'd seen eating cheeseburgers for years,
Well,
suddenly were.
this reminds me a little bit of what you were talking about earlier, Jeff, where when you start to feel healthy, you notice that you just feel different.
So
And I think you're absolutely right that for some people it's, maybe just the fad that they jumped on.
Right.
But I know for me and my body, I noticed a huge difference.
Right.
And that is actually a big part of what Arbonne's 30-day program is about. Because when you actually take a step back and you just hit pause on eating some of these foods,
Right.
just to see how your particular body, like John could probably go on this 30-day program, after 30 days, he could go right back into eating dairy and gluten and all this stuff that does trigger.
And I've done cleanses before. Like I've done 5 days, 7 day. I think the longest one I ever did was 10 days.
Yeah.
And first off, if you do a cleanse, you have to do a cleanse correctly. You
Absolutely.
can't just stop eating. You can't just start eating. You have to take a 2 or 3 day slide cycle into a cleanse.
Yeah.
And then you have to take a 2 or 3 day slide cycle out of your cleanse to let your body get used to things.
And the thing with this is not a traditional cleanse. Like we're not just drinking like, cayenne pepper and yeah, that's not what this is. It's not that extreme thing. But the thing is, so basically your body is a bathtub. This is a great analogy that I just love.
Body like a bathtub. That's my theme song.
That could be your new
I'll be
theme song,
drinking
right?
wine while I'm playing.
I have bacon grease all over me. And
Me
I
too.
love it.
Nice.
So your body's a bathtub, right? And the way that this analogy works is kind of like, okay, thank you. You can envision the faucet as being, all these toxins or even like negative thoughts and negative beliefs that you are just pouring into your body. The air we breathe is filled with so many toxins. The stuff that we take in every day. And so your body the bathtub starts to get full.
I'm going to get started on getting this bacon done.
Awesome. And then,
Heat it up.
your
While you guys are talking, let's take a look at this as well, because we want to
Awesome.
show off
Yes,
some of our
perfect.
fun little set stuff here. So, yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, so your elimination organs, your liver, your GI tract, your kidneys, your skin, those are all kind of like the drain systems.
Right.
And they're so often being compromised because of the toxin buildup.
By everything all the
By
time.
everything.
Right.
So what happens is the bathtub starts to really overflow.
Right.
And that's when you notice the chronic issues. Whether it's, for me, it was eczema. For some people, it's migraines or, joint pain or, back pain. I mean, that's a big one for me recently. I actually threw my back out because I was overdoing it at the gym and not really focusing on my form as much as I should have.
Right.
Form is something.
Super important.
So as somebody, I take my test in 5 weeks to become a personal trainer. But personal training is something that I've been very into for a very long time, and it's one of my pet peeves at the gym is seeing people who are lifting incorrectly, and not one trainer in the gym will advise them.
Yeah.
You don't have to be rude about it, but I feel if you work at a gym and you're a trainer for, say, the Y or Club X or any bigger name gym, and you see somebody doing something wrong, you should gently explain to them that they're doing it wrong, the inherent problems that they're going to cause themselves.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's a pet peeve of mine. It's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
surprised
I
nobody-
brought it up because I thought of you and just as a personal trainer, what a difference it makes. And what happened was I actually have this weird thing in my back that my chiropractor kind of told me was an issue, and I got an X-ray and saw wow, that's really messed up. I mean, I was like this for a couple weeks, couldn't even stand up straight.
So you carry a person on that side.
Yeah, it's probably from honestly having kids on my hip too. There's that.
That's something people don't think about.
Yeah.
And your
Oh,
chiropractor probably spoke to you about that.
He did. But the other thing he said was anti-inflammatory eating, which is exactly what Arbonne talks about, what the 30-day program is about. And, that was really eye-opening for me to hear that here's a doctor really prescribing food as medicine.
Right.
So
Which
that's
is funny.
what
The
got
food
me
is,
back into it.
Sorry, the food as medicine thing is very new to us in the United States, but it's so funny if you talk to people Europe and Asia, they're obviously prevent instead of treat,
Preventative treat.
Exactly.
Yeah, traditional Indian medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. That was stuff that I really started studying, and basically, obviously, eating whole foods is number one. You should always be eating your fruits and vegetables, your lean meats and what have you. But I think for a lot of us as busy parents who don't really have time to prep those meals, buy the ingredients to make those meals, go to Whole Foods and spend your whole paycheck, that sort of thing. So this is what I loved about this program, because you just take a shake with you for breakfast and lunch or breakfast and dinner. Makes it super easy, but then the rest of the time you're really focused on eating the whole foods.
Now, is it just a protein shake, or is it a protein meal replacement shake? How is
it
structured?
It is a meal replacement shake. So it has 20 vitamins and minerals, and it's vegan based. So it has a complete amino acid to kind of rival animal based protein shake.
Okay.
So a lot of vegan protein shakes only have some of the amino acids, only some of the building blocks, because a plant by definition doesn't always have all of them.
Right.
Whereas, a whey-based protein would have all the amino acids in a protein. So what Arbonne did is it figured out the most digestible proteins and the best combination to get all the building blocks. So it's made with yellow pea protein, brown rice protein, and cranberry protein. So that creates almost like a vegan meal, like it has all the pieces.
Yeah.
And that's what the protein's made from. And then it's sweetened with a little bit of stevia, so it's low glycemic. So it's actually really good for anyone with pre-diabetes or diabetes as well.
Right.
So it's got your BCAAs in it, which a lot of meal replacement shakes avoid. For some reason, they don't put them in, especially if they're vegan-based shakes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're very deficient.
Our protein shake mix does not have the BCAAs. That's in our performance line. We have an athlete line.
Okay.
The Phytosport does have the the branched chain amino acids, if people don't know what that is.
Always remember that when you're taking in your amino acids, there are certain essential amino acids that are not included in a lot of profiles for a lot of non-sports drinks. Meal replacement plans typically don't have the BCAA profile that you would need if you're working out. So you're going to need some type of athletic supplement to put those BCAAs and the glutamine into your system. And what they do is BCAAs and glutamine while you're working out prep your muscles, and they prep your body to intake the protein on a better level and more efficiently than if you just slammed protein in. They're essentially the door openers.
Yes.
BCAAs sit inside your muscles, and they sort of open the doors so that the protein can come on in and make the repairs it can to the connective tissue. So BCAAs are very important, and it's a piece to a lot of puzzles. One of the things we always are going to talk about is the difference between casual fitness and fitness. I talked about this last week on the Wednesday show with Peter. Somebody changing their diet to simply get off the couch, or somebody who wants to competitively run races.
Yes.
There's two different profiles that you have to think about. I'm going to get started on the chicken.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, John. And the reason I really like what you bring up is that's kind of what drew me to the Arbonne program, because it really gives you a scaffold to work with.
Right.
You're not expected to just all of a sudden drink cayenne water.
Right.
You're given the tools that you need.
Excuse me.
You find out when you learn about this that dairy, gluten, soy, sugar, coffee, alcohol are all highly inflammatory.
Right.
And it's really hard to just say, I'm done with all those things.
So that kind of brings me back to the gluten-free thing. So I don't have a gluten intolerance, but I found, so at one point, believe it or not, I was like 100 pounds lighter, and we talked about that on the show. But I was able to do that because I cut out all these things from my diet. And as someone who never had a problem, like John said, I can eat whatever I want, and I feel great. But I found when I cut the things out, I noticed that I felt better, and I could feel it, And it was, I don't think necessarily for me it was the gluten, but when you think about, well, what is, gluten is in what? Gluten is in bread products, gluten is in all the other things that maybe you shouldn't be eating so much of. So going gluten-free can be positive for anyone. Yeah.
Well, here's another really interesting fact, too, is that in Europe, they find lower instances of people who even already have celiac. They don't react as badly to grain that's grown in Europe versus grain that's grown in the U.S.
Really?
Well, there's not as many... I don't think that in Europe they use a lot of the chemical profiles that we do here in the United States to mass produce and to keep the bugs and
that
away.
Definitely
Our chemical
the
profiles are
pesticides
definitely
and chemicals for sure. But the other thing is that scientists in America wanted to really grow the gluten so that the wheat plant so it would grow anywhere.
Right.
And so the gluten part of the plant is really the part that protects the plant.
Right.
So they crossbred it to become bigger and bigger and bigger on the grain grown in the U.S.
Yep.
So our bodies take in this grain, and for some people, their bodies are like, I'm sorry, what is this? This is not the wheat that we were eating 100 years ago.
Right.
And I actually have a blog about that. It's called There You Arbonne, but it talks a little bit about this is not your grandma's wheat. This is not the same wheat that we ate 100 years ago, which is why a lot of people have reactions.
Not only that, but we're not using it the same way as we did 100 years ago. People you can go to a store and buy a bag of wheat gluten because what it does in baking is kind of, it fills things out. It gives it that nice spongy kind of feel, which is why you get a lot of the gluten-free breads when you buy them that they can be kind of some of them are better than others, you know. Yeah.
That's very true.
So yeah, we're not using.
What you guys are going to do while I'm working on the mushrooms real quick, we're going to go right back into the conversation, is we are going to dice these up. You're going to core them, you're going to dump the seeds, and you're going to dice them up.
I like this little lobster.
That little
claw.
nice is fantastic.
I don't like that one.
You know, I just think it looks like a lobster claw or something, doesn't it? Actually, it goes
And
well. Goes well with this thing right here. Oh.
So just be very careful, please. We don't want to lose any fingers here on the Fit Show.
That would be interesting, though.
It would
People
be. It would make for good
people
live
would
TV.
share
That's for
this.
sure.
They would.
You guys gotta see this. Dude chops off his finger. This is.
Tune in next week to see what other body parts we can lose. So there you go.
Cut off the head, tear out the guts. Oh, you go for the half, huh?
I do.
Let's see if how we doing here on questions.
Yeah. What do you guys have questions about?
Somebody actually asked, "What are your thoughts on a product like Soylent?" Soylent. It's a soy-based.
Is it if it's soy-based? So the thing with soy is actually going back to the same kind of issues that we talked about, where it comes to how things are grown and crossbred. Soy in the U.S. is, I think, over 90% genetically modified.
Right.
So that we don't know if that's like necessarily so bad, except that studies have shown that it creates more of an inflammatory response in the body. Things that are grown, with genetically modified ingredients.
Right.
So I think soy is definitely one of those where you can find organic soy, and I think that that's pretty okay. But for the most part, soy does tend to create an inflammatory response in the body. And the inflammatory response is what, taxes your system, and that is what in turn can create things like weight gain. I mean, this is one thing that's really interesting that I didn't realize. So like when your body is overloaded with toxins, and we talked about that bathtub analogy, what ends up happening is your body wants to protect your vital organs from the toxins. So it puts the toxins in your adipose tissue, which is your fat.
Oh, okay.
So your fat, especially around the gut, is actually there to protect you. Thanks, body. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, body.
Thanks a lot for keeping that there. But it's there so that your vital organs, like your heart, your brain, your liver, don't get overloaded with toxins. So that's why weight loss is a common side effect of the 30-day program, because you wind up, detoxifying the body. The cells release. And what that does is it actually kills your cravings as well, because you're detoxifying on a cellular level. So it's not like this, I think a lot of times when you're cutting calories, it's so easy to bounce back up. The second you start to take in more, more calories again, it's really easy to rebound. But when you are...
It's not even on it's not even long term, even short term. So
yeah.
I'm at the bottom end of my weight loss right now.
Yeah.
I am at about 141. My goal is to get to 140.
That's awesome. You're
But
so
I have a cheat meal every weekend. That's part of my routine. Every single Saturday, I allow myself a meal, a 4 or 5 hour period to do what I want. I have a couple of drinks. I eat some fries. I eat a couple of onion rings. I do whatever I want. But what I notice is I will jump 3-4 pounds.
Wow. With just one meal. Isn't it amazing?
With the one meal.
Are you eating 3 or 4 pounds of meat?
No, not necessarily. But what happens is my body is holding things.
Yeah.
Where I'm constantly in fat burning mode because of the way I eat. With my intermittent fasting, with the way that I take in my diet every day, with the way I eat and the structure that I eat, my body is constantly in fat burning mode. When I throw it the carbohydrate bad foods on the weekend, it goes immediately after them and holds on to my fat instead of burning it. So I will see where, for instance, I think I posted my Saturday morning weigh-in, I was 141.2. Today I was 145.1. Just from the Saturday, Sunday, having a beer, at the show Saturday, the food I ate there. So you can't see a 4 or 5 pound swing within a few day period. That's not a long term thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't curb it, it stays and it grows and you hold that weight. And that's where life gets in the way. Jeff and I spoke about that last week, how life can get in the way. And 5 pounds becomes 8 pounds, becomes 15 pounds, becomes, wow, I'm 25 pounds heavier than I was 6 months ago.
Yeah. But I think that same, in the same vein, you also have to look at it as, this is progress, and I think it's really important to celebrate every little piece of progress that you made.
Right.
Like, really
Definitely.
make it special. And try not to celebrate with food, because
Right.
I know for me, that was always like my,
Yeah.
okay, however
Celebrating
much cup, you did good.
brownies.
Yeah.
I just lost 5 pounds. I'm gonna have a cake.
Exactly. But I think that balance is really important, and that's actually why I do my 30-day program pretty strictly for 30 days, so that like when I'm not doing it, I can kind of live it up. I kind of try to keep an 80-20 balance on my diet after the fact, so I follow essentially that anti-inflammatory eating for 80% of the time, and then there's that 20% where I'm like, heck yeah, I'm gonna have that glass of wine.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
And that's where I am. I eat very clean Sunday to Saturday morning. And I intermittent fast 7 days a week. It's just from 9 p.m. through noon the next day. 7 days a week I don't eat. My cheat period is my Saturday afternoons. That's when we have our show on Saturdays down at Main Street. And it's, we're promoting the lifestyle, so we have to be part of the lifestyle. But that for me is the mental break from being so rigid throughout the week that Saturday is my I get to have a burger.
Yes.
And I'm not
And a
I don't
beer
beat
and,
myself up for it either.
No, you
Which is
can't.
I think a thing a lot of people do is they lose a few pounds and then they get excited and have a meal and then they beat themselves up over the fact that they ate something bad.
They expect perfection, and we're humans.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I didn't beat myself up about the amount of beer that I drank on my vacation. I'm okay with it. I'm alright with it. Yeah.
I bet your liver was beat up though.
Yeah. I definitely don't feel so good, afterwards. But I'm gonna get back to the gym and get right back to my stuff.
And a couple of days isn't going to be a big deal, especially since you've been working out. What was your weigh-in a week ago? It was 285, right?
So we started at 285, and then the other day I got on the scale. It was at 279.
Okay, so we're already moving in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Now
Right.
I'm gonna bet that you're back up in the 280s because of the 3 or 4 days
Right.
we're
Yeah.
off your plan. But your body is starting to understand what it wants to do, so it's going to rebound quickly.
Right, and like we said before, it's not necessarily about the numbers on. The numbers on the scale are cool. It's a nice benchmark, but honestly, just the feeling of like I feel
feel,
better. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like that's worth it. So even if the
Absolutely.
scale's crawling a little bit, I'm just gonna stick with it.
So Tim just asked a question. As gigging musicians who are at different restaurants every night, what do you look for in meals just based off their menu? Is it easier to count your nutrients at home? And what do you use to ballpark when you eat out?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It'll depend on what time I'm eating, because most of the time I'm at a gig, it's at night, and I'm done eating for the day. So I'll have a snack on the way to the gig. I have a lot of healthy snacks that I can take on the go. So I never really eat at the gig. Now, if it's a happy hour gig like our Saturdays,
Right.
I'll go for a really hearty, healthy salad. Main Street has a few salads that have an amazing array of either vegetables or fruits in them, and then I'll do steak tips, which are fine. So I know that salad, based on the calculations I've done and looking at the food that's in it, it's probably about a 700 or 800 calorie salad with the steak tips, with everything else. It's probably in the 30 to 40 grams of fat world. But if I get the fruit-based one, it's probably a bit in the carbs. But if I get the vegetable-based ones, it's not. So it'll depend on which one I get that way. If I'm at a place that doesn't necessarily have a great salad menu, it's my Saturday. I kind of eat whatever I feel like. But most of the time for me, I'm done eating by the time I get to my gigs.
Right. Yeah, definitely don't want to be eating at 1 a.m. when you're getting done with the gig.
That's the worst.
And even, so a lot of times the gigs, they start at 9. Like John said, if it's an afternoon thing, happy hour, then yeah, you're going to eat. What I look for is just minimally processed, kind of like you were saying, You can tell right, you can imagine a plate of steak and potato and vegetables as opposed to, a burger or a mac and cheese dish or some pasta. Like,
definitely.
They're real foods, and they're things that don't come from the factory. That's the thing that I look for.
And you stay away from the breading.
Definitely. And one thing I do for me when I'm out, because I do,
Because you do travel a lot.
I do travel a lot with Arbonne. I go to people's homes. I do presentations there and things like that. And I bring a protein shake all the time. And I plan my day. I know that like my dinner will be a protein shake that night. And honestly, it's sometimes like it's so good. Like this protein, you guys will smell it a little bit later. it smells like cake, and it's just a really satisfying little like.
It
This
is
is
cake.
good.
I do another thing too that I've learned from, I forget who taught me this, but I have always a bag in my car of just like emergency stuff for gigs.
Yes.
You know, like you never know what's gonna go wrong. So I keep in that bag a pouch of beef jerky because beef jerky
is fantastic.
If it's
There
late
you
night
go.
and I'm like, oh man, that was a great show, but I'm really hungry, I get a couple bites of beef jerky and it's a nice snack and it's
right
all
inside
protein.
that cabinet.
Lovely.
And yeah, so that's another strategy that I've been able to figure out. Works for me. Could work
Now-
for you.
No, John, I'm not doing dairy right now.
Okay.
So could I have my dressing on the side?
You sure can.
Awesome. And that's actually another tip too, I think, for people. Like, dressing can hold a lot of secret toxins that
And
you
we're
don't
using heavy
realize.
cream for this dressing. So it's
Yeah.
heavy cream and Dijon mustard.
I love Dijon. I love to do a little Dijon with
So
like
what we'll
lemon
do is
and
we'll let
olive
you
oil.
we'll make a second one for you.
That sounds good.
I love mustards. Anybody who knows me, I have like mustards
So are you?
lined up
you
in
want
my
the oil?
refrigerator.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if we're gonna have time to make the protein
I
balls.
know,
No,
right?
if we don't, we've already got them made, so we can
We
show you.
do. We can
talk
show
through it.
them, and they look like,
$1 million.
but they're actually pretty good. Except that I burnt the almonds last night a little bit. But you know what? They're
They're
edible.
toasted. They're toasted.
Very, very toasted.
Well, I'm excited to try one.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't know much about Arbonne before. I still don't, I guess.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so tell me, what is Arbonne all about?
So I'm glad you asked because I talked a little bit before about how it's allowed me to have a different approach to really how I make money as
Right,
well.
right.
And I think so Arbonne is a network marketing company,
Mm-hmm.
social marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really fascinating because that used to be so like, oh no,
Yeah,
stay away.
Right.
And I think the reason why these have really flourished now is because of things like social media.
Right.
The fact that I can so easily just put it out there that this is what I'm doing, and I have, all of my Facebook friends able to follow along with me as I go through this
Right,
journey.
right.
It's really powerful, and I think it really shows people that, yeah, I'm authentically like actually doing it, as
Yeah,
much as it's
right.
hard to do.
I think
And-
it's easier for people to digest too. If you remember,
Yeah.
like back in the day, if you were doing something, if you were doing a party, sometimes they had to like go after you. Hey, you gotta do
Yes,
everything. You gotta,
absolutely.
and now you can kind of put things out there, and if you're
there's
interested, then come on.
there's
Yeah,
takers,
yeah.
and that's what's so great about it, and that's really what's made it work for me and my family. And more than anything, I think what I'm most passionate about is this whole idea that like you can create an income that's completely residual. Like you guys are artists, you're musicians, you write music, kind of, and you can have things like royalties coming in for years down the road.
Right.
And not everyone has your talent or feels like the drive that you guys do towards music specifically. But somebody who's passionate about health like myself, or there's so many other amazing companies out there that follow this model, by teaching other people how to build their own businesses, I get to continue to have a residual income. Like
Right.
once I've built it to a certain point, and that's so freeing, especially for moms.
Right.
And actually, I wanted to just bring this up. I'm working on a nonprofit right now that I'm so excited about.
Awesome.
And
doing
it's
a lot.
it's very much in its infancy stages. But what we want to create is actually a community center for moms and their kids to go to, where there'll be healthy food, some mindfulness practice,
Right.
some yoga maybe.
Awesome.
And like a little cafe. So
Yep.
it's going to be called the Conscious Cafe. We're working on getting funding and
Right.
incorporating as a nonprofit.
That
so
sounds fantastic.
it's pretty
does sound
exciting,
great.
and I'm hoping it'll be down the street in Hanover. We'll see.
Awesome.
We have ideas for where we'd like to do it, but
Very cool.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
One
it'll
thing
be-
after another. So you're doing all kinds of stuff.
yeah, I'm also doing a video summit, much like this.
Really.
Yeah. In fact, it was really interesting when John brought this up, and it will feature other female entrepreneurs who are trying to balance the mom life thing and
Yeah.
are looking to show other people that they can do it too. And
Right.
it'll be like a video series summit.
Right.
So
That's it. That's what we're all about. We want to motivate and inspire.
Yay.
Right? And also, like I said, hold me accountable. So
right.
So I want to do a question I just saw. Adam asked, and this is a good question for you.
Sure.
Would you guys say that multiple smaller, healthy meals and snacks during the day will boost your metabolism, making it easier to shed weight at a quicker rate?
I would definitely say yes. You know, I try to make sure I snack throughout the day all the time. Like he said, you know, it keeps your metabolism running at all times.
Right.
I think if you're doing the intermittent fasting and you're really good at that and you can have that kind of structure in your day, that works. For me, I need my little meals throughout the day to just keep this train rolling.
I talk what works for me, or what has worked for me, and is starting to work for me again.
You guys see this chicken, by the way?
It looks amazing.
It smells so good too. I wish you guys could smell it.
We get a camera on that? This chicken
So-
is just about done. I'm about to flip it one more time and then take it out of here.
No chicken.
Done, you're good.
These are
Look at
thick.
that.
These are thick chicken breasts.
Are you sure you're not a professional?
I
I'm
am
impressed.
not. I can order the daylights out of Domino's.
All I've done is chopped peppers. That's all I've done.
Yeah, but we did a heck of a job on
We
those
did.
peppers.
They're
This is-
pretty.
this is
No,
hot
no, that's
peppers.
not true. You guys also did the bacon.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
See?
All right. We did that too.
So, I was about this many small meals thing. I find that not only does that boost your metabolism, but for me, being able to think in terms of, I think what holds a lot of people back, what holds me back, is it's really hard to think about taking stuff out of your diet. Oh, I can't have that. I can't have this. I can't do, it's kind of a downer,
Yeah.
So, for me, having lots of small meals allowed me to think, okay, I have to add this into my diet. I have to add this into my diet.
Yeah.
And like, I have to eat a salad now. And it allowed me to like really, really work on like portion control, because I found that I wasn't starving all the time.
Right.
Because, so it helps in more ways than just your metabolism to be eating these small meals.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
My husband is actually, he has the opposite problem that we have. He's trying to put on weight.
Okay.
So similar, where he's like, I have to drink a protein shake on
Right.
top of my lunch now
Right.
because I need that extra,
Right.
intake. And
If
I'm
he
like,
wants to borrow any, I can give him some.
I've got
And-
plenty of spare too.
I can understand that because I'm reaching the point where I need to stop losing weight.
Right.
But my
You
body
want
is
to-
in weight loss mode.
Sure.
My metabolism is running so hot that I'm losing weight easily, but I still want to lose about 4 or 5% body fat. So I now have to figure out a new macro to where I don't necessarily drop any more weight, but I continue to lean out. So that's going to be a tricky one for me to figure out now, because I really got the weight loss one dialed in. That took me about 4 or 5 weeks to really find a good mix. I would love to talk to your husband about how he's struggling to put on weight.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He does a lot. Actually, like I said, these protein shakes, because they're not like a weight loss supplement. They're a health supplement.
Right.
So he does an extra shake every single night, which wouldn't really work for you, John, but you could fit it in during your hours of eating.
Right.
Well, I could fit it in.
Yeah,
It would
absolutely.
be, it would just simply be yes.
You know what else he does? Chia seeds are really good for that, as well as coconut
Have it
oil.
right over there.
Yeah, we have chia seeds here, and coconut oil. Actually, he microwaves it for a couple of seconds so that it's liquid, and then puts that into a shake. So it adds that frothiness, but it also adds a lot of extra calories and healthy fat.
Right.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do now.
This looks fabulous.
We're going to start to divide the salad up between the plates. The vegetables go right on top of the salad. Then the bacon goes on, and we're going to cut up the chicken breast. I'll cut the chicken breasts up while you guys kind of prep the salads, if you would.
All right. We can make them pretty.
I'm going to go this way. Jeff, you want to switch spots?
Yeah, let's switch.
All right. So I'm going to move all of these peppers onto one cutting board.
Let's see. I feel like this show's going to help me get better at my food presentation, right? Because I don't
Food
have any
presentation
idea
is
what
key.
I'm doing.
Now, the last show, those of you who watched the show last week will remember that Jeff's food presentation was rather lacking.
It was not very good.
It looked, what was supposed to be a very pretty meal, kind of looked like Sloppy Joe's.
Oh.
But
Did
it's
you
still,
guys make last week again?
it still tasted fantastic.
It was
I'm going to pass
really,
these over
really
to you.
Yes.
I'm going to swing this cutting board around so I can start to cut this chicken.
Awesome.
I'm going to wash my hands so I'm not touching everyone's salad with my...
Yeah, I just did the same.
So we've kind of touched on a whole bunch of the Arbonne products.
Yeah.
But so what else do they have? I feel like it's not just
No, nutrition. No, in
Right.
fact, nutrition was the thing that they added most recently because they started out as a skincare company with a focus on using really safe and clean ingredients.
Right.
And not testing on animals and no parabens, no sulfates, things like that. And then they realized pretty quickly that...
Look at that.
Oh, that looks awesome.
It's cooked just right. It's juicy.
That looks delicious.
Once in a while, I get it right. Once in a while.
And you were just doing so much. I'm impressed. But then they realized pretty quickly that people's skin, reflects what's going on inside. Your skin really is a mirror of what's happening inside your body. So people were having issues with their skin, and they were still using our products.
Right.
But the issue was more about their gut health and more
Right.
about their body. So that's when they realized that they really need to break into the nutrition side. So, I mean,
Excellent.
I'm like head to toe Arbonne right now. I use their shampoo, conditioner, like makeup, everything.
Awesome.
All of it. So they have some great stuff. Over 400 products and
400 products?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
whole store.
it is a whole store.
That's
you should
incredible.
see the catalog. It's actually like it's like a novel.
I know you've shared a lot with me, but I don't think I knew that there were that many products.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and what I love about it for me is I get to shop in my own store.
Right.
Like every day when I'm using.
But
when I'm
can't
at the
that? Do
same-
you think that can get confusing for someone new to the product?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of our biggest.
I'm
distractions.
not asking that in a bad way. I mean,
No,
like,
it's a
part of
good
the part of the
point.
thing I think that hurts people with their diet is not understanding.
Too much.
And when you
Being
throw too many
overwhelmed,
things at them
yeah.
at once, they
Yes.
get confused and they quit.
It's such a good point.
So how
and
do
that's
you
actually,
guide them through it?
So I actually teach nutrition first.
Okay.
So because that was my passion and because I think it's the thing that helps people the most, I lead with nutrition. So I teach people how to start the program. They do it for about 2 weeks and then they start to see results. They do a little Facebook Live with their friends. Their friends get in on it and then they either decide to become a consultant as well or they get these great host rewards by getting me in front of their friends who
Right.
buy.
Cool.
So either way they benefit, and then from there, obviously, I would like to see them to expand their repertoire of what they share. But what it really comes down to, I think, is you just buy what you normally would use. So I teach people to just replace what they're already using every day
Right.
with Arbonne products. Don't go out go crazy and start buying things that you would never typically.
Right. Start
Right.
small, build
Yeah.
up.
Exactly. Like some people who aren't into makeup, I'm not going to expect them to get the entire makeup kit that
Right.
costs $700. And
I need that.
You don't need
I'm
that. No.
I don't know, Jeff. Your skin's very nice.
So that's a really good point, though, John. And it's one of the things that that's why I choose to focus here. Like this is my bread and butter, if
Right,
you will, but
right.
gluten-free bread and
Yeah.
dairy-free butter.
I was about to say, wait a minute.
Bread and butter,
I
right?
can't do either of them, but that's okay. Just for right now. And that's why I think it's so important to just look at it as pressing pause, not as like a lifestyle forever. I'll never be able to enjoy anything ever again.
Right.
I think, and what's so cool about when you press pause on like those things and you start to feel better, all of a sudden you're able to kind of like, instead of going about life feeling like, oh, why does my back hurt today? Why does my stomach hurt today? Why am I gassy all the time? You're able to actually focus on just being who you are and then maybe doing bigger things with your life. Like,
Right.
I think when you start to take care of your health, that's when creativity strikes.
Yep.
That's when inspiration strikes. Like, look at what you guys are
Clean
doing
body,
here.
clear mind.
Absolutely.
And that's something a lot of people don't think about. Clean,
Absolutely.
Jeff, what are you doing? man?
How do we open this thing?
Clean body, clean mind. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I totally.
Jeff, Jeff's
I knew
not
that.
good with this.
Jeff was in Nashville this weekend, guys.
Jeff drank a little too much.
Still-
I will do the
His
tomatoes.
mind is not quite clean yet.
But look at how look at I put these in a circle. Look
That's
at-
so
I'm
pretty.
surprised you used a knife today.
There's
and
only
didn't
4.
get
I
hurt.
did.
Aren't there more of us?
Well, we're gonna make the rest
Yeah.
after we're done.
All right.
Whoa, I
We
lost
only
the
have-
tomato.
you know, see, John. We can't trust you with anything.
That's why we can't have nice things.
We yeah. So we have these. We have plenty more food for
Jeff, would
the
you
crew,
Be
which
nice for the bacon.
which we definitely we want to thank Matt for being here today, right,
Yes.
and helping us out.
Yes, we do want to thank Mobius Media Solutions and Matt Johnson for coming in today, bringing his camera setup and directing the show. It has definitely improved the show dramatically. Again, we always want to say thank you to our wine sponsor, Nantucket Vineyard. Make sure you go and find them on Facebook, find them online. They're part of the Cisco Brewery Group. So if you've ever been to Cisco Brewery on Nantucket, you've been to Nantucket Vineyard. You were just there.
I was just in Nantucket this weekend. It was very cold.
Weren't you also at the brewery?
We did not go to the brewery, no. But I did pick up a bottle, so I'm excited to drink that once
Yeah.
this is over.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you're missing it. That one's yours, Jeff.
You smelled
You
mine.
can smell.
so-
Yeah, okay. No, please. Give
Just
it a
sniff
good.
a little.
Give it a good sniff.
Just a little sniff.
Okay.
Waft wafting.
Jeff, if you would bring those over plate by plate.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to not drop this chicken.
This is going to be... I'll be impressed.
Wow. Oh my god, that looks amazing.
I dropped the chicken.
You dropped it everywhere.
There's more pieces. I'm going to do better on the next one.
I want that like nice restaurant like.
That's what my goal is. Next plate.
All right.
You got this. You got this.
I don't know.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough.
Oh, it is. I gotta do. Here we go.
You got it.
Just get in there, John. Oh yeah.
Boom. Tell me this is on.
Look at that. Of course, my mind just went to a very different place that I'm not going to say. This one's not going to work as well. That one.
We just know that
No,
one.
hang on.
Nope. We gave up on that one.
I should have used a pair of tongs on this.
Oh.
All right, and last plate. This one's already a mess. So we're simply going to get this on the plate.
This looks amazing. I'm so excited. Oh, let me get my protein balls, which, if you guys want, I can share the recipe at least.
Yes, well, you know what we'll do is
Put that out there.
we will put the recipe for the protein balls. Let's get the protein balls.
They look like
We're going to get Colleen's balls now.
I'll tell you guys quickly what's in them.
And then we'll post this on the page.
Yes. So I used some baking cocoa, some, fair trade, organic, and then almond butter. There's some coconut oil. There's some toasted almonds, chia seeds, as we mentioned before. I'm not even in the shot, am I?
We got
Hidden
Don't worry.
dates, which these look disgusting, but they're actually pretty good.
They're delicious, but I always thought they looked like bugs.
What's that?
Pitted dates.
Dates.
They're
Like
so good though.
brains are bugs. And I think and then there's protein in them as well, obviously. Did I put them in here?
Oh, we got them over here.
What's that?
Alright,
I have your balls
you're
out here.
so quick, John. I can't even you're just
I'm
scurrying around.
trying to be quick about it. I'm very quick with the
So
balls.
this will be a good dessert,
Now,
I think.
Now, I want to do this too while we're doing
Yeah.
this. Do you have your, oh, here's yours.
Oh yes.
That is your dressing.
Thank you,
yours.
my boring dressing, but it'll be delicious.
It is
Yeah,
not
I don't
boring,
think
it's
I
got
don't think
mustard
there's
in it.
really much for the salad. I mean, with the bacon and
Right.
the chicken.
Now, that's what's in here. We've got a spinach greens mix. You've got chicken breast that was seasoned with basil and lemon. You've got bacon, tomatoes, peppers. You've got a mustard vinaigrette that we made. Well, hers is a little different because she's being a good girl. So
one looks better.
you could put that on top. I don't know how you want it.
Thank you.
Ours is basically the same thing, but it's got heavy cream in it. So that's where ours is. I understand why she's avoiding that right now. She'll come back in a week or 2 weeks, and she'll have this with me again. Because you bring the kids over, they can play with Harmony Grace, and we'll make this.
I know.
Now, I want to reach over you for a second. I want to show my balls too.
Yeah. we already talked about how this is going to get super inappropriate quickly when we talk
It's
about
funny when she sent me
balls.
when I asked her last week. I said,
That's
"What do you
a-
want to do on the show?" She said, "Shit, I want to do protein balls, and we can make inappropriate jokes for an hour." And here we are.
His
So,
balls are paler than mine.
well, I'm going to hold up one.
Wrinklier too, I think. Yeah.
So these are, but this is two different variations of
Mine are
protein
too.
ball. Now, what's in yours?
So again, it's got the chia seeds, almond butter, baking cocoa, the Arbonne protein powder, some coconut oil, and next time I make them, cinnamon too. Next time I make them, I'm gonna roll them in shredded coconut so they don't look so much like that.
And mine are very simple, a lot simpler than yours. Mine are a protein powder, a peanut butter, a trail mix, whole oats, uncut, and vanilla, rolled, and then put in the fridge. So I'll try one of yours, you try one of mine.
All right, after.
After? Yeah, let's eat first.
I want to eat this.
This looks pretty
dessert.
good.
I don't want
We're gonna get started on the
protein
chicken.
balls.
I'm glad that
Guys, I think we're coming down to the end here.
I got the good looking one. Look at that.
Once
did.
again,
What the
once
heck?
again, how did that happen? Once again, before you start any nutrition change, any nutrition plan, before you start going to the gym, before you start any workout, consult a trainer, consult your doctor. Make sure that you're healthy enough to take on the changes that you're going to take on in your life.
Drink lots of water.
Drink lots and lots of water. We want to thank Colleen for being on the show today.
Thank you, John.
Again, we want to thank Nantucket Vineyards for being our sponsor. Next week on this show, we have Ariel Artemis Ruggiero, who was the Beachbody Classic winner for women at age 35 after having 3 kids.
Damn.
She is a fitness instructor.
Yeah, right.
She is a bodybuilder. She owns her own gym. She is a badass in every single way, and she's going to be our guest next week. This Wednesday, tune in at 2 p.m. for the Wednesday Nutrition Short Series. This week, I'm going to have Jennifer Ciano on the show, and Jen is a personal trainer and a certified nutritionist, and she owns her own business called Mary Fit. And she's going to be on the show, and we're going to talk for 20-25 minutes, take your questions about everyday nutrition. Lots of water. That's one of her points. They're bringing you a workout from CrossFit South Shore. So you're going to get to meet the guys from CrossFit South Shore, see the facility, and they kicked our ass.
It was a tough one.
It was awesome. You're going to see Jeff almost throw up. It was wonderful. This Friday, you're going to see Jeff's interview. We have an interview series on Fridays. We had some technical issues with the editing last week. So Jeff's interview will be on this Friday. So make sure you tune in. So you got a lot to watch this week with us here at the Fit Show.
Exciting.
A lot of stuff.
Thanks for watching today. Thank you, Colleen, for coming on.
Thank you.
We hope you guys learned something today, got some good information. I know Jeff and I, when we've talked about this, our whole goal, it's kind of, we want to help you guys learn some things. We want to learn a lot. That's why we're bringing people on like Colleen, because they know more than we do, and it's going to help all of our journeys to learn from people like Colleen who are professionals and who know their stuff. And we want to introduce you to all the gyms and this amazing community on the South Shore of health and fitness that a lot of people don't know about. So, that being said, it's time to eat. I'm gonna put this dressing on mine. You got yours. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Why are you back here when I just got